Hello my friends, Dr. Mandell here. Today, I want to talk about one of the most powerful foods on this planet, eggs. They're packed with protein, amino acids, healthy fats, vitamins, and minerals. But here's the truth. It's not about eating eggs, it's about how you eat them. Because if you're eating them the wrong way, especially if you're over 60, you could actually be damaging your arteries, raising inflammation, and hurting your heart and brain health. They told you eggs are healthy. They told you they're the perfect breakfast. But what they never told you is that the way you cook them can quietly turn one of nature's best proteins into a slow, moving toxin inside your body. Every morning, millions of people crack an egg into a hot pan slicked with golden oil, hearing that comforting sizzle, never realizing that the real drama starts right there. In the heat, in the chemistry, in the invisible reactions, changing the very molecules that keep you alive. An egg is a masterpiece of biology, a complete cell, a living blueprint. Inside that shell is everything your body needs to repair muscle, feed the brain, and rebuild cells. One large egg contains 6 grams of pure protein, loaded with all 9 essential amino acids, vitamin B12 for nerve function, vitamin D for bones, selenium for immunity, and choline for memory. It's a perfect package until heat and oil twist it into something else. Here's the hidden truth. When you fry eggs in vegetable oils, canola, soybean, sunflower, or corn, you trigger oxidation. These oils, promoted for decades as heart healthy, are actually fragile. They're made mostly of omega-6 polyunsaturated fats. Under high heat, these fats break apart, releasing unstable compounds called lipid peroxides. The moment that oil starts to smoke, it's already producing aldehydes, toxic molecules shown in studies to damage DNA and inflame artery walls. In 2017, researchers at the University of Reading found that frying foods in reused vegetable oil produced aldehyde levels up to 200 times higher than what the World Health Organization considers safe. You don't have to reuse it to get harm. A single fry is enough to start the process. Those aldehydes don't vanish. They cling to your food, they enter your bloodstream, and they begin to quietly corrode the system that carries oxygen through your body. Now imagine this happening every morning. You think you're starting your day healthy, eggs for protein, maybe some toast, yet inside, microscopic scars are forming along the walls of your arteries. Your immune cells rush to repair them, laying down cholesterol like plaster over cracks. Over time, that plaster hardens, and one day your doctor calls it plaque buildup. But there's more. Overcooking or overheating eggs themselves oxidizes their cholesterol. Inside the yolk, cholesterol is natural and essential. Your brain, hormones, and cell membranes depend on it. But once exposed to high heat and oxygen, that cholesterol transforms into oxysterols, reactive molecules proven in multiple studies to accelerate atherosclerosis and neurodegenerative diseases. A paper in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry revealed that oxidized cholesterol increases inflammatory cytokines in the body, the same chemical messengers involved in arthritis, heart disease, and even Alzheimer's. Think about that the next time your yolk turns dull green or your kitchen fills with smoke. That color isn't flavor, it's oxidation. And seniors are especially vulnerable. After 60, your natural antioxidant levels decline. Your liver produces less glutathione, the master detox molecule. That means every bit of oxidized oil, every particle of rancid fat lingers longer in your system, attacking tissues that no longer heal as fast as they once did. What was harmless in your 30s becomes dangerous in your 70s. Yet the solution is astonishingly simple. Switch the oil and you switch the outcome. Use extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, or grass-fed butter. These fats are rich in antioxidants like polyphenols that resist oxidation even at moderate heat. They create a protective environment where the egg can cook gently without destroying its nutrients. Studies from the European Journal of Nutrition show that olive oil not only stays stable under heat, but also enhances the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K from foods cooked in it. So when you cook eggs in olive oil, you're not just avoiding harm, you're amplifying the benefit. Now let's talk about temperature. The human body thrives at 98.6 degrees, and most of its enzymes work between 37 and 40 degrees Celsius. Beyond that, proteins denature, they lose structure. The same happens to egg proteins above 70 degrees. When the whites go from translucent to white, that's denaturation. Good, because it makes them digestible. But push the heat further and you cross a line. At very high temperatures, amino acids react with sugars in what's called the Maillard reaction. That's the browning you see. It smells delicious, but it produces advanced glycation end products, AGs, which scientists link to aging, stiff arteries, and cataracts. A study from Mount Sinai School of Medicine showed that people consuming high AGE foods had significantly higher markers of inflammation and oxidative stress. Scrambling eggs gently over low heat keeps that reaction minimal, preserving the amino acids that build your muscles and heal your tissues. So yes, the number of eggs you eat matters far less than the chemistry of how you cook them. 2 eggs fried at 400 degrees in vegetable oil can cause more cellular inflammation than 4 eggs poached in water or cooked in olive oil. It's not quantity, it's quality and method. And here's something you might never have considered: even the pan matters. Non-stick pans scratched or overheated release microscopic Teflon particles. Research from Environmental Science and Technology warns that these particles can degrade into perfluorinated compounds, PFAS, nicknamed forever chemicals, because your body can't break them down. If you're cooking eggs every morning, switching to a ceramic, stainless, steel, or cast iron pan eliminates that risk completely. Everything you do in the kitchen is chemistry. The sound of the sizzle, the shimmer of the oil, the timing of the flip, it all determines whether your meal heals you or harms you. For older adults fighting inflammation, arthritis, or fatigue, these small daily choices create the difference between pain and energy, between decline and renewal. Think of your arteries as rivers. Every oxidized fat you consume is like throwing rust into those rivers. Every antioxidant you eat is like sending in tiny cleaners to scrub them clear. By choosing the right oil and gentle heat, you stop adding rust and start sending in the cleaners. You literally change the flow of your life. It's not scare tactics, it's science. The human body replaces its cells every few years. The proteins you eat today will become part of your heart, your muscles, your eyes. So if you feed it damaged protein, cooked in broken oil, you're building a weaker version of yourself. But if you feed it living nutrients preserved with care, you're rebuilding strength from the inside out. Next time you crack that egg, remember this moment. Lower the heat. Choose purity over convenience. Treat that egg as medicine, not just food. Because in the end, longevity isn't found in supplements or pills. It's found in the small decisions you make every single morning. The pan, the oil, the patience. Those 3 things can change the destiny of your health. Your body is listening to every meal you cook. Let every sizzle say something kind. They say eggs are nature's perfect food. But perfection can be fragile. One wrong move in your kitchen, a few seconds too long on the stove, a little too much heat, and that perfection begins to fall apart. What was once a living source of energy and repair becomes something very different, something your body struggles to recognize. You see, an egg is not just food. It's a living system, a micro-universe of proteins, fats, and antioxidants designed to protect and nourish life. But heat changes everything. The moment you expose an egg to high temperatures, the delicate molecules inside begin to unravel, oxidize, and transform. And that transformation could be silently stealing the health benefits you believe you're getting. When you crack an egg and toss it into a hot frying pan, the first thing you hear is that satisfying hiss. But in that sound, there's chemistry, violent chemistry. The proteins in the whites, mostly ovalbumin, start to denature at around 62 degrees Celsius. That's good. It's what makes the egg firm and safe to eat. But as the heat rises beyond 70, 80, 90 degrees, those same proteins clump tighter and tighter, pushing water out and creating a dry, rubbery texture. And with that rubbery texture comes a chemical shift, one that scientists call oxidation stress. When the yolk turns from golden yellow to a dull greenish hue, it's not just overcooked, it's chemically damaged. The natural cholesterol inside, which your body uses to produce hormones and maintain cell walls, begins to oxidize into compounds called oxysterols. These are not your friends. Oxysterols are highly reactive molecules that trigger inflammation and damage in the lining of your arteries. In 2009, researchers in the journal Atherosclerosis showed that even small amounts of oxidized cholesterol accelerate plaque formation and arterial stiffening. Over time, this can lead to the very thing you thought eggs were helping you prevent: heart disease. And that's not all. When you overcook protein, it forms advanced glycation end products, AGEs. These compounds are formed when sugars and amino acids fuse under high heat. The browning of your eggs, that burnt edge around the white, is not flavor, it's the visible sign of AGE formation. Studies from Mount Sinai School of Medicine found that diets high in AGEs were directly linked to faster aging, insulin resistance, and kidney stress. The same chemistry that gives food a toasted flavor can also make your cells age before their time. Now think about how often this happens. Every morning, millions of seniors over 60 cook their eggs on high heat, hurrying through breakfast. But after 60, your body's antioxidant defenses weaken. Glutathione, the molecule that neutralizes oxidative stress, declines by as much as 50%. That means the oxysterols and AGs created by overcooking don't get neutralized. They stay lingering in your blood, your joints, your brain. That's one reason inflammation, stiffness, and fatigue often creep in slowly, like a fog you can't escape. Eggs are meant to heal, not harm, but the difference lies in patience. When you cook them gently, soft, boiled, poached, or lightly scrambled, you protect the integrity of the yolk. Inside that golden center are antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin, which guard your eyes against macular degeneration and blindness. Yet those same antioxidants are heat sensitive. In a 2013 study from Tufts University, scientists found that overcooking eggs reduced lutein and zeaxanthin levels by over 40%. So when your egg turns from golden and soft to gray and rubbery, you're literally burning away the nutrients that protect your vision. And what about brain health? The yolk is one of the richest natural sources of choline, an essential nutrient your brain uses to make acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter responsible for memory, focus, and mood. But choline is delicate. Excessive heat breaks it down before your body can use it. That's why older adults, already prone to memory loss, fatigue, and low mood, should treat the yolk like medicine, not something to scorch or harden, but to preserve. Even your digestion suffers. Protein that's overcoagulated by heat becomes harder to break down. Your stomach needs more acid, your pancreas releases more enzymes, and your gut works overtime. For seniors with weaker digestion or acid reflux, that means discomfort, bloating, or nutrient loss. In contrast, lightly cooked or poached eggs are much easier to absorb. In one study published in the Journal of Nutrition, researchers found that the human body absorbed nearly twice as much protein and carotenoids from soft, boiled eggs than from those cooked at high temperatures. And there's a silent danger you don't see. Oxidation doesn't stop in the pan. Once cholesterol oxidizes, it continues reacting inside your body. The damaged lipids combine with oxygen and metals like iron in your blood, creating a chain reaction of oxidative stress. It's like rust forming on the inside of your arteries. Slowly, silently, it spreads one overcooked meal at a time. And imagine a lifetime of that. Every morning for decades, a small dose of oxidized cholesterol, AGEs, and denatured protein entering your bloodstream. You won't feel it right away, but it shows up later. In the stiffness of your joints, the fog in your mind, the fatigue after meals, the blood pressure creeping upward year by year. It's not just aging, it's accumulation. The irony is, eggs themselves are not the problem. They are the cure if you treat them right. Cooked gently, they're one of the most efficient ways to preserve lean muscle, protect your brain, and support hormone balance. But the line between healing and harming lies in just a few degrees of heat. Try this: instead of frying on high, lower the flame. Let the eggs cook slowly. You'll notice the yolk stays bright, the whites tender, the flavor richer. You're not just changing the taste, you're changing the chemistry. You're keeping the proteins alive, the fats stable, the nutrients intact. You're feeding your cells what they actually need to thrive. And here's the truth that most people never hear: you can eat eggs every day and still protect your heart, if you cook them right. It's not the cholesterol in the egg that hurts you. It's the cholesterol you destroy through heat and oxidation that causes harm. Modern science is finally proving what nature always knew, that life, whether in a cell or an egg, depends on balance, not extremes. Every meal is an experiment. The stove is your laboratory. The way you handle heat is the difference between medicine and poison. When you overcook an egg, you destroy more than nutrients. You destroy its life force, the very energy that nature designed to sustain another living being. So next time you cook breakfast, slow down. Listen to the sound of the pan, watch the color of the yolk, respect the simplicity of what's in front of you. Because that golden center holds more than protein, it holds the memory of life itself. And your body, your heart, your mind deserve that life in its purest form. Your longevity doesn't depend on supplements, it depends on awareness. Awareness of the small things like the heat beneath your skillet, the patience in your cooking, the care you bring to what you eat. One gentle meal at a time, you can reverse years of silent damage and nourish yourself the way nature intended. Eggs don't age you. Impatience does. Handle them with care, and they'll return the favor. They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but what if the very foods you start your morning with are silently attacking your heart? Millions of people wake up, crack their eggs, and reach for bacon, sausage, or ham. The sound of the sizzle, the aroma filling the kitchen. It feels like comfort, like home. But behind that smell is a hidden chemical story most people never hear, one that quietly shapes the way you age, the way your heart beats, and the way your body fights disease. Every slice of bacon, every bite of sausage carries a secret. Processed meats are preserved with nitrates and nitrites, chemicals designed to keep food looking fresh, pink, and safe. But when they hit heat, those preservatives change form. turning into nitrosamines, one of the most potent cancer-causing compounds ever discovered. A study published in the International Journal of Cancer found that people who consumed processed meats daily had up to a 44% higher risk of developing stomach and colorectal cancer. Yet every morning, millions of seniors fry eggs next to strips of bacon, unaware that their beloved breakfast is producing the same class of carcinogens found in cigarette smoke. And it doesn't stop there. The salt content in these processed meats is staggering. One serving of bacon can contain more sodium than your body needs in an entire day. Sodium pulls water into your bloodstream, raising your blood volume and putting constant pressure on your heart and arteries. Over time, that pressure stiffens vessel walls, forcing your heart to work harder with every beat. The American Heart Association warns that excessive sodium is directly linked to heart failure, kidney disease, and stroke, and older adults are at even greater risk because their blood vessels have already lost elasticity. When you combine high sodium with eggs, the situation gets even worse. Eggs are rich in sulfur-based amino acids, which when oxidized can form homocysteine in the blood. Homocysteine isn't harmful in small amounts, but when combined with a high sodium, high nitrate diet, it creates the perfect storm for endothelial damage, the microscopic injury to the inner lining of your arteries that begins the process of plaque buildup. That's why breakfast combinations like eggs and bacon aren't just unhealthy. They're chemically destructive. Think about this. Every time you eat processed meat, you're introducing synthetic chemicals into a body that's already fighting to maintain balance. For people over 60, your liver filters slower, your kidneys excrete less efficiently, and your cells repair at a reduced pace. The toxins that a younger body might flush out in a few hours can linger for days. Over time, they build up, creating a toxic backlog that keeps your immune system in a state of chronic alert. Chronic inflammation is not just discomfort, it's the seedbed of every major disease linked to aging, from heart disease to Alzheimer's to arthritis. In 2019, researchers from the Harvard School of Public Health followed more than 500,000 adults and found that eating just 2 slices of processed meat daily increased the risk of dying from heart disease by 24%. Those numbers aren't theoretical, they're the quiet truth behind millions of morning routines. And for seniors, the margin for error is small. The body doesn't have the same resilience it once did. What you eat now decides how your next decade feels. But here's the paradox: eggs themselves aren't the enemy. Eggs are powerful. They contain choline for the brain, vitamin D for the bones, lutein for the eyes. The problem is what you pair them with. When you mix these life-giving nutrients with oxidized fats, nitrates, and excessive sodium, you neutralize the good and amplify the bad. You turn medicine into poison. That's the chemistry most people never see. The frying pan doesn't just cook food, it creates reactions. When the fats in bacon mix with the protein in eggs under high heat, they produce advanced glycation end products, AGEs, the same compounds linked to wrinkles, arterial stiffness, and inflammation. In the body, AGEs cross-link collagen fibers, turning flexible tissue rigid. That's why people who eat more processed foods age faster on the inside and outside. Their skin sags, their joints ache, and their circulation slows. The clock doesn't tick faster, it just shows more clearly. Now imagine you're 65. Your blood vessels have already narrowed slightly, your metabolism has slowed, your cells regenerate slower than before. Every salty breakfast you eat compounds the pressure inside your body. It's invisible, silent, cumulative. You can't feel it day by day, but one morning you wake up dizzy, or with swelling in your ankles, or a sudden tightness in your chest. That's how slow damage feels. Sudden, only because you didn't see it coming. Yet the human body is remarkable. It forgives. Change your habits for even a few weeks and it starts to heal. Replace the bacon with avocado, rich in potassium and healthy monounsaturated fats that counter sodium's effects. Add spinach or mushrooms cooked in olive oil. Those greens provide magnesium, which helps relax blood vessels and balance electrolytes. A 2020 study in the British Medical Journal found that older adults who replaced processed meats with plant-based proteins had a 23% lower risk of premature death. The body responds quickly when you feed it living foods instead of processed chemicals. And about the salt, most of it isn't even necessary. Your taste buds adapt in just 14 days. When you lower your salt intake, foods start to taste more natural, more alive. Eggs cooked with herbs, garlic, or turmeric become flavorful without the need for excess sodium. Turmeric itself, as shown in studies from the National Institute of Health, reduces inflammation and supports liver detoxification, directly countering the very oxidative stress caused by processed meats. The truth is, your breakfast determines the chemistry of your day. The first meal you eat tells your hormones how to behave, your blood sugar how to respond, your energy how to flow. A breakfast loaded with nitrates and sodium tells your body to fight. A breakfast loaded with antioxidants and fiber tells it to heal. Every morning is a message to your biology. If you could see what happens inside your arteries after a salty, processed breakfast, you would never look at bacon the same way again. Under a microscope, you'd see your blood thickening, your arteries contracting, your cells struggling to move oxygen. It's not dramatic, it's microscopic but relentless. Yet, with one choice, a different oil, a different pairing, a little patience, you could reverse all of it. Food is chemistry, but it's also power. And as we age, power comes from knowledge. Knowing that what you put beside your eggs is just as important as the eggs themselves can be the difference between a long, energetic life and one filled with fatigue and disease. The smallest change, like swapping processed meat for greens, reduces inflammation, stabilizes blood pressure, and restores the rhythm of your heart. So the next time you crack that egg, think of your body not as a furnace, but as a garden. What you add to it either nourishes or poisons the soil. You don't need to give up your favorite foods, you just need to change the way they connect. Because health doesn't disappear in one bad meal, it fades in small, repetitive choices. And healing starts in the same way, one breakfast, one decision, one mindful choice at a time. The sizzling sound of bacon may call to your senses, but the silence of a healthy heart beats louder. Listen to that. Your body will thank you. Stay healthy, stay happy, and remember your health is your wealth. This is Dr. Mandell, wishing you and your loved ones great health and happiness always. If you found this helpful, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe for more daily health tips that keep you young, strong, and thriving.